Good morning.
Morning.
How are you? Late night. How are you doing?
Well, when you play Thursday, it's always late night, so that's just part of it, and long may it continue.
If we can get your thoughts on last night. I know obviously you did speak briefly after the game, but what's your reaction to the match and the result?
Look, it was always going to be a difficult game. MD, who knows about going to play in Olympiacos, will tell you how difficult it can be. And we didn't perform as well as we'd have liked, but nevertheless we've had a really good start to the group, and hopefully we can keep that going the next time we play them.
You talked a bit in the build-up about being involved in these big football nights and big atmospheres like that. So even though it wasn't the result you wanted, how great to be involved, as you say, in playing big teams like that with those kind of atmospheres.
Very much so. Big experience for the players. You know, it was an incredible atmosphere, I have to say, inside the stadium. So, no, hopefully all those things help us. We've had 2 really good years in Europe at the moment, and last night was another experience we'll remember.
I know some discussion about this winning run coming to an end, but how do you reflect on actually what an achievement that was? Because it was an amazing run, and I imagine you're hugely proud of the number of wins that you did build up.
Well, when I get told about it the last time when we won a few weeks ago at Freiburg, I didn't realise that had been the situation. So I think we went 17 unbeaten, which is a great. If you'd said to me, I don't know, a couple of years ago, hey, you'll go 17 unbeaten and you'll lose 1-0, I'd have said to you, I'll take that all day long. Yeah.
Not long, as ever, to dwell on last night, and now you're looking ahead to Everton. How are you feeling heading into that one?
Well, we'll just get ourselves back, get ourselves ready for it. It's part of it. Every Premier League game is really difficult. Everton's a really tough game, and we'll approach it the same as we'd approach any other game.
Thank you.
Hi, David. You said last night that you'd made quite a few changes because you were looking at the bigger picture. Does that just show your level of ambition on all competitions this season?
Well, I think if you look at, you'd have to go back and look over all those 17 games we talked about that we won, that we made 17. Every one of those games we made changes. It was only when we got to the quarterfinals and the final, semi-finals, did we sort of begin to pick more what looked like our first 11. But I've always wanted to use the players in the squad. I wanted to give them opportunities to show what they can do. I want them to get game time. We done that again last night. So it's something we've done here quite regular, and I'll continue to do it if I feel there's the right time. What I will say is I think this year's been the hardest group we've been drawn in. I have to say, Olympiacos and Freiburg especially, probably the toughest group we've had.
It's quite rare for managers to admit that they're actually already looking at the next game. Usually they say they take one game at a time. How do you look at things in terms of already thinking about the following game?
Well, MD, who's been involved in European football, meaning the Thursday, Sunday nights, will have to look at see how the teams do. There's very few teams have great success when they play Thursday, Sunday. It's such a hard thing to do, and it's not just our league. If you look at the other leagues as well, so you have to try and balance how you can get, have teams ready to play again on the Sunday. So we've tried to do that over the last 2 years. I think we've done a pretty good job at it, and the real thing for us, the bread and butter, will always be the Premier League, and we have to be ready for these games.
Talking about the Premier League, Everton have had a bit of a wobbly start to the season. What are you expecting from them on Sunday?
What I would expect from Sean Dyche, from Everton, a hard nut to crack. They've probably played a little bit better away from home this season, so we'll expect it to be a really tough game. I wouldn't see anything else. I don't see them getting turned over easy. I don't see teams beating them easily. I don't see that at all. I see a sort of resilient team keeping at it. On their day they've got players who are capable of scoring goals, and as I said, they're a tough nut to crack.
Obviously, you've had a couple of negative results in the past week. Is it really key now? Obviously, you want to win every game, but do you feel like this is necessary now to lift the spirits to get a good result?
Our spirits are great, so we don't need to lift the spirits. They're terrific.
And just to finish, a word on Sean Dyche. Obviously, you were the Everton manager for a huge amount of time. What do you think of what he's done since he's arrived?
I think Sean's done a brilliant job, more importantly last season, in keeping them in the Premier League, when last year was probably the toughest I can remember the Premier League regarding the relegation side of the league. We were involved in that for long periods as well, and Dyche went right to the end and kept his team up, so no, congratulations to him. It looks as if it might be a difficult period at Everton just now with their financial situation, so he's having to sort of steer them through that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lauren. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Right.
Hi, David.
Hi there.
I know we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but after a couple of losses, how do you, as manager, make sure to pick the team up and make sure that there isn't a dip in confidence?
Well, I think you have to put the one in midweek in slightly different. You know, we've made a lot of changes. We had a loss last week against Aston Villa, which we would have liked to have done better, but we played against a good team. I think the one in midweek slightly different. We'd already won a couple of games in the group, and also we wanted to make sure that we gave players an opportunity to show if they should be in the team, if they were pressing for first team action, and we gave as many as we possibly could that opportunity last night.
And 4 out of 5 of your next games in all competitions are at home. Does that feel like maybe a slight advantage to you?
It does, yeah. I think actually, if you look at our start to the season, I wasn't complaining, but I was moaning a little bit because I thought we had a really unfair start to the season. If you look at us in the first 4 games of the season, I think we had 3 away from home and 1 at home, and even the next batch of games as well kept us in a negative side regarding being at home. So hopefully it'll help us. We've been good enough at home. We've had some tough games, and we expect some more to come.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention some recent news as well. So it's the first time since 1995 that a Premier League game is scheduled to be played on Christmas Eve. There's been a bit of kind of controversy there. I was wondering what your thoughts were on that news.
I think I'm pretty disappointed to hear that. I think there's a culture here where there's days when we probably put aside, and I think we're breaking all the footballing cultures of what we've had if we are going to try and get a game involved in Christmas Eve. As far as I'm concerned, it's players, coaching staffs get very little time with their family, get very little opportunities to be together because of the work schedule we've got, and I think this is only another one of these moments where I would be against it, because I think that it's one of the times in the year where people do get a chance to be together with their families, and it is probably a very short period. We've already got an incredibly busy Christmas New Year schedule, and so I find it quite strange.